Where's Wally moment here. Where am I? I'm going to tell you in a minute, but that's Plymouth in the background. Okay, any of you that been here before, I'm sure you'll recognise it, but Mount Edgecombe House, and we're on the Mount Edgecombe estate, and we came over on the Kreml ferry from Royal William Yard, which is nice. So we had a spot of brunch in Royal William Yard. In fact, we got the ferry from the Barbican in Plymouth round to the Royal William Yard, then we had some brunch, Royal William Yard, then we got the ferry over to Mount Edgecombe, and Caroline and I, there she is, just wave Caroline. Caroline and I are going to have a nice little walk, then we might have a pint, and then we'll get the ferry back, and then we've got dinner booked for this evening down in Plymouth. Now, why are we in Plymouth? So we've got hotel, service accommodation, buy-to-let, stuff like that in Plymouth, and we're changing hotel management company, so we decided we would be in Plymouth while that transition happens, and we're actually staying in the hotel, and so service accommodation, got to take the rough with the smooth. So being able to do what we're doing today, not exchanging time for money in a job, that's the smooth. But the rough part, it's a hospitality business, you'd have to deal with grumpy bastards, right? So we noticed on the messaging, so with our management company last night, that one of the guests is saying that their telly's not working. So they said, we'll look into it ASAP. So it was late last night, right? And in fact, no, it was late, not last night, night before last, beg your pardon. And then yesterday morning, we messaged to say, we'll go and have a look at your telly. So the guest said, yeah, go ahead and go and check it out. So I literally went in there myself. It's one of those all-in-one remotes had been put in. Previous remote had gone missing, and the team had put an all-in-one remote, which meant that you couldn't retune the telly, so not great. So anyway, I went and got a proper remote, retuned the telly in. I've ordered some more proper remotes for the exact type of telly. Anyway, telly's working again. So previous guests, people plug their own bits and bobs in, they mess about, and it messes things up. So to be honest, it's one of the things that cleaners should check, right? They should check the telly's working. Anyway, all sorted. And Caroline, Saint Caroline, had messaged the guest, or called the guest, in fact, to give the full guest experience, and actually said, when would it be a good time to go and have a look at the telly? And she, introduced herself on the phone as the owner of the hotel, and when would be a good time to go and have a look at the telly, and he responded. Now, when I went to see him last night, because he started complaining again on the messaging app with the online management company, so I thought, is his telly not working again? So I went and knocked his door and went in, and he said, yeah, the telly not working. And I said, all right, I did tune it in earlier. Can you just turn it on for me? Lo and behold, he turns it on and it's working fine. But he was busy having a right whinge about the telly not working. He hadn't even turned it on. And then he said, and some woman phoned me up earlier claiming to be the owner of the hotel, and she was just rude. So those of you that have met Caroline before, I don't know if I can, I'm doing a live on Insta. Can I flick the camera around? Probably, but I'm not going to do it now in case, hold on. No, not going to try. But Caroline, being rude, claiming to be the owner, claiming audaciously to be the owner. He said, and you're obviously the owner. I said, well, no, she is also the owner. We own it together. And I was sort of thinking, I didn't want to have a row with him because you can't do that in hospitality, but sort of frowning a little bit about her being rude, and I was listening to her conversation with him, and she wasn't. But anyway, I said, well, I'm sorry you've had problems with the telly. All of a sudden, he's heard the word, I'm sorry, and then he decides to back right down, and he was nice as pie, and then complimenting the hotel. But here's the thing, if he'd have just gone and left a review, he would have left a very, very negative review. And this is what you have to deal with in service accommodation. Grumpy bastards, right? They walk among us, and keyboard warriors as well. When he met somebody face to face, he's as nice as pie. And even though Caroline had phoned and been nice to him, he was still going to complain, he said. But now that he's met me, butter wouldn't melt, me, he's going to now leave a positive review. But do you know what? You're going to get, in service accommodation, you're going to get good reviews, you're going to get bad reviews. You've just got to pull up your big girl or your big boy pants, suck it up and deal with it, because shit happens, and in a hospitality business, you're going to have things, and staff members, team members are going to let you down. Things will let you down. Tech will let you down, and guests are going to be grumpy and leave you negative reviews. But you know what? You've got to deal with it because you've got to take the rough with a smooth, team. So what am I doing now? Having a nice day out with our Caroline, the grumpy Caroline, the claiming to be the owner, Caroline, and having a nice day out whilst grumpy guests are paying to stay in our properties, allowing us to do what we want, when we want, with whom we want. Hopefully that was helpful, team. You've got to take rough with the smooth. Here's to your success in service accommodation. Remember, from me, the property soldier, your future needs you. Take care.